Hello, and welcome to Collect Jurassic World. I'm Victoria.
And this is Tim.
And we are your hosts on this adventure through all things Jurassic World.
That includes toys and collectibles, as well as movie, TV, and community updates.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the park is open.
Hey Victoria, on the way over here on Main Street, I couldn't help but notice that it smelled strongly of French fries.
Hey Tim, there's a really good reason for that. The Golden Arches will be joining Main Street here in Jurassic World. And finally, our guests will be able to enjoy their very own McDonald's. Whether it's a Big Mac, whether it is a plain cheeseburger, McChicken, chicken nuggets. We've got plenty to choose from. Or if you want to go on the lighter side, maybe a salad or parfait, something like that. But everybody's going to be happy when they take a gander into Jurassic World's very own McDonald's.
Very nice. A good addition, too. We already got Starbucks here at Jurassic World, so happy to welcome McDonald's.
Very, very happy.
We have some special park announcement today. We want to say congratulations to Brad of the Jurassic Park podcast. He had another child.
Yay! Yeah, huge congratulations to our buddy Brad. We wish his new child and his family all the happiness in the world. Beautiful family, and I'm sure it's very exciting for them, and we're really happy for them.
Yes, and he's still putting out content like a beast. Don't know how he does it, but yeah, totally happy for you, Brad. Congrats to you.
All right, let's track some assets here. So McDonald's, we talked a little bit about McDonald's. There's a new promotion going on at your local McDonald's, hopefully in your area, and it has to do with Jurassic, so it's a little exciting for us, isn't it?
Very exciting. I mean, we haven't seen Jurassic at McDonald's since like the 90s.
It's been a while, unless there was like a little T-Rex, wasn't there, like a few years back that they had like the train?
Oh, yeah. You're right. There was like a little kids meal that was part of like some Universal DreamWorks thing. But as far as like a proper Jurassic promotion,
right,
it hasn't been since Jurassic Park with the cups and, all that good stuff. But it's exciting.
It is exciting, and this is perfect. Camp Cretaceous, obviously the very first animated Jurassic series, and it's a really good tie-in. We know that Target had a pretty strong tie-in for a little bit, and now that it's happening at McDonald's, I mean, that just seems like a really good fit.
Right, we're just hitting the kids over the head with Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, wherever they go. And obviously, like as a kid, Happy Meal toys are a great way to market toward kids, and that's what we're getting at McDonald's is a couple different assortments of Happy Meal toys.
Totally. And remember doing that last year? Did you do that last year when they had like the retro toys that they brought back?
I didn't even try because it seemed like it was a intense collecting sort of hunt, and we'll get to it, but like the hunt for this Camp Cretaceous stuff has been pseudo intense, so I can't even imagine what the throwback toy hunt was like.
Oh yeah, it was wild. It was a 3-day promotion, so it was like really quick, and they had like 17 toys or something, and I managed to get all but one. Had to eBay the last one, and before that they were doing Halloween. I think for boys, quote unquote, for boys it was Pokemon, and for girls, quote unquote, it was Hello Kitty, and I like the Hello Kitty toys, so I collected all those too. So yeah, really cool stuff. If you like McDonald's, and I'm not afraid or embarrassed to admit that I like a little McDonald's every now and then.
I like McDonald's. I'm not afraid to admit it either.
Yeah, good memories going back to being a kid and those Happy Meal toys, and my dad taking me basically every single day when I was like in pre-K, and it was oftentimes just to play outside and and whatnot. But yeah, cool stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, and none of that gender crap going on with the toys this time around. We have 4 books and 4 like little figurines with their eggs. So I think right now they're just giving out the books as of September 1st, but later on in the month they're going to hand out those egg figures too, which look really cool.
Yeah, those are what I'm excited for. Like, I haven't gone out to look for the books yet. I'm pretty sure, I'll be able to get them. I'll probably try tomorrow, actually. Yeah, it's the toys, obviously. That's what I'm really here for. I'm looking forward to the books, but, the toys are what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, the books have a lot of nice little nuggets of like Camp Cretaceous teaser info. So if you're listening to this before the show debuts on the 18th, like you can grab the books and probably get a little bit of insider info on the show. And they just have lots of cool like Jurassic facts and more importantly, just general dinosaur education, which is super fun.
That is really cool. And you said there are some nuggets in there, so I hope you also mean the chicken variety.
Yeah, McNuggets. And then the figures themselves, like they all come in these eggs, and every egg, I was looking today because someone posted pictures of them, like every egg is like different, like a different like texture or speckle. That they didn't have to do that. They could have made them all like the same, like sandy beige, but they made each egg for Carnotaurus, Bumpy, T-Rex, and Triceratops. Like they all have their own separate egg. Kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, that is really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing those when those hit.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what I'm waiting for, the toys.
And the plain cheeseburger. That too.
And the plain cheeseburger. And the Happy Meal box, because there is an official Camp Cretaceous Happy Meal box that's very cool. Like it even has like the little perforated gates that open up. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah. And another set we're tracking here, international tracking. If you're listening to the show, you know we're not just talking about toys here in the U.S. where me and Victoria live, but we're always looking overseas to see what Jurassic toys and what Jurassic collectibles are popping up over there. And this is the another Camp Cretaceous kind of like playset pack. Ceratosaurus Clash comes with a Ceratosaurus like repaint. I don't think it's like a retool. I think it's just a repaint. And then it comes with Velociraptor Blue and Velociraptor Charlie. And I am having a memory of us talking about this in the last episode a little bit. Maybe we'd seen a picture of it somewhere,
yes.
But now they're really showing up in Mexico, and they're showing up, obviously they were showing up in Chile before, and now there's like a listing on Walmart.com too, so who even knows if it's going to show up here in the US. Like we really don't know,
right?
This is an exciting one though.
It is, and we really don't know, and that's the thing. The Lockwood Manor place, I think it's still on Walmart.com. They never actually got it though, but
it is.
Yeah, and for $40, which I think would have been retail had it come to the US. So $20 seems maybe about right for this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's been sets that have come to the U.S. that showed up on Walmart.com soon, before they did, like the Mosasaur set. And then there's sets like the Lockwood Ultimate Showdown or whatever it's called that are still on there to this day. It's funny because Greg, if you've listened to the show this season, we talk about Greg all the time. Me and Greg were just talking. We both have that like in our little Walmart list app, just in case someday it goes into stock or something. So it's still on there for sure. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, who really knows? I don't think this one's coming to stores though.
Yeah, it could be an online only thing. I think even the Quest for Indominus, that was basically online only until like Thanksgiving, right? And that's when stores started to carry it.
Right, and maybe that's what this is, but it doesn't really seem like the right fit. But
yeah.
Walmart's got it at $20, which is incredibly reasonable for what you're getting.
I mean, it is, considering that, those medium-sized dinosaurs go for $15. Obviously, it doesn't have the sounds, but...
Right.
And then 2 attack pack dinos. I mean, yeah, $20 is a really good deal.
Yeah, I just love the box sets, with the windows, don't you? They just look a little bit more classy as like a shelf piece.
They do. For presentation purposes, like all those box sets. I mean, going back to a Legacy collection when they had the one with Grant and the Green Raptor, and that's a really gorgeous box. And even like the more recent ones, like the Escape from Isla Nublar or the Camp Cretaceous set. I mean, those just look really, really cool in the boxes.
Totally. And I only make a habit of buying and keeping stuff in box that's kind of more rare, but I have the Escape from Isla Nublar set because I just love it in the box so much. And if this Ceratosaurus Clash set kind of ends up being a little more hard to come by, like I'm definitely going to get one to keep in the box too, because it does just look so nice with all that Camp Cretaceous branding and all that.
Yeah, totally.
Another Mattel figure we have, and another Camp Cretaceous figure that we have popping up is the Soundstrike Xenoceratops. We have the Soundstrike Margasaurus, Irritator, Parasaurolophus. This would be the next wave. Pretty excited about this one too.
Yeah, Xenoceratops, that's one that has been in demand since the line began, basically.
Yeah.
Anyone that's been collecting the line from the beginning obviously knows that they marketed Xenoceratops pretty early on in the line, but it was actually a Pachycephalosaurus. And
right.
But they gave it the coloring that it had from the Xenoceratops had in Jurassic World. And what was the little tidbit of information that we had been hearing back then?
I think it was like, they just changed the basically changed the species in the movie sort of like late in the game development wise. So it was a Pachycephalosaurus when Mattel was developing the figure, and then it got changed to Xenoceratops. And then they were just kind of left with a Pachycephalosaurus figure that they released with Xenoceratops as the name. You know, they were like, well, it's still got to tie into the movie. So definitely one of those like Mattel Jurassic toy line defining moments, like Spinogate. Like people still bring up the Pachycephalosaurus, Xenoceratops all the time.
Yeah, which it's interesting because they never call that dinosaur out by name in the film. So even if they called it Pachycephalosaurus, I don't think many people would have noticed. But
nobody would have cared. Yeah. Right, and this new Xenoceratops, to get back to the actual toy we're talking about, it's got a cool colorway that still kind of looks a little bit more movie accurate. It's for Camp Cretaceous, but it looks like a movie accurate Xenoceratops. It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. The colors are definitely a little more muted than they were before. It has a little bit more of an ashy look to it, and I'm all here for this one. I'm really excited to see it in person.
Yeah, it looks big too. I mean, just like the photos of it in the box. It just looks like a hefty figure, and you can order it right now on Amazon. That's kind of interesting because toys sell out so quickly, but this one you can still go out and order it.
Yeah,
you can still go out and order it among other Soundstrike figures.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff that it's still there, but yeah, I think they're finally stocking now, like the Irritator. They're stocking the Cyats, Mikurum, which isn't a Savage Strike, but isn't a Sound Strike, but it is in that larger dinosaur size. But it's cool if you don't have these dinos. It's a good opportunity to jump on and get them at MSRP.
Yeah, it's just too bad because right now Amazon's like having some sort of fit where half the listings have the wrong photo. So like if you want to go buy Margasaurus right now and you click on the listing, it has a Savage Strike Delta on there. But that's not what you're going to get. So I feel bad for people. Like, obviously we're pretty deep into this and we know what links go where. But people that are just kind of shopping on Amazon are going to be disappointed because, you think you're ordering one thing, but you're getting another. But Xenoceratops and Irritator definitely have the right photos. So at least you can order those with confidence.
Yeah, the whole thing's really weird. But, hopefully they resolve it. And because, that would never be fun. You don't want to order a Sarcosuchus and get a Triceratops or something.
No. Whether you're a collector or a kid or just someone buying a birthday gift, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So I hope they fix that. But on collectjurassic.com, I do have a list of all the links. That's the only way I kind of know what I'm definitely clicking on is because we made this list of links so long ago, and those don't really change, even though the photos are all jacked up. Like the actual listings are still good. So if you want to go somewhere and kind of navigate through that, that list is pretty helpful. It's still kind of confusing though, and I just feel bad for people that are just kind of shopping willy-nilly.
Yeah, totally. So Tim, I'm hearing that the new Attack Pack wave is starting to hit in the US.
Yeah, I actually just got one, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But yeah, Alioramus, Dimorphodon repaint, not both from the Camp Cretaceous, not Alioramus, but the new Dimorphodon. It's got really cool colors, and I think those are, sort of at least inspired by Camp Cretaceous.
Nice, yeah. And, I hope to see a little bit of more of a tie-in there. We've talked in the past about, like, the baryonyx that came with the Stegosaurus, and, like, are these colors, like, accurate to Camp Cretaceous? So, I'm glad they're changing things up and not going straight for, what we see in the film in Camp Cretaceous, seemingly. Some things will be the same, but, it's nice that things are a little bit different. That way, they can repaint the toys a little bit differently. We don't have to buy the same old dinosaur again.
Yeah, I kind of like the Camp Cretaceous toys. They all kind of have a style to them, too, when we display our toys, like it's kind of cool. I'm kind of already planning a Camp Cretaceous toy display, and I think the toys all look kind of really well together. And this Dimorphodon that's in the new Attack Pack wave, it fits right in. It has like really vibrant underwings, and it's got like a very vibrant base red on it, so it just kind of fits in with, I wouldn't say cartoonish, but just a little bit more of a lighter vibe.
Very cool.
And I would want to mention too that this wave isn't just these two figures. I think they're carrying over Bumpy and the Velociraptor from the first wave. So Bumpy's been very rare, so hopefully this kind of lets it,
hopefully
circulate a little
I
bit
still
more.
don't have that previous wave, so I definitely hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd think that they would have like just shove that one down our throats like Owen or something, but still pretty hard to find.
Very hard to find. So what's hitting over in Korea and Malaysia? I'm hearing that something's starting to show up over there.
Yeah, the Savage Strike figures, kind of switching gears to the $9.99 assortment. There's a couple of figures that have been spotted in a couple Asian countries. Savage Strike Delta and Dilophosaurus. The Dilophosaurus is the one we're really excited about, though.
Yeah, that's the one that's a brand new sculpt, right? It's a completely different Dilophosaurus than we've had before.
Right, it's like a frill action, which, I mean, Dilophosaurus is kind of synonymous with its frill, so I think you like flick the tail or the leg, I can't remember, and the frill opens and the mouth opens. Yeah, I mean, that's just like iconic for the Dilophosaurus. So yeah, it looks like a fun new figure, and Delta's from Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, so we'll have in this particular sculpt, we'll have Delta, we'll have Charlie, and we'll have Blue, but not Echo. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've seen people post photos of them all side by side in the box, and it actually looks really cool. It makes me wish they would release an Echo now in this sculpt, just so we could have them all.
Yeah, I hope so. But since they just gave us the jumping Echo, who knows? That doesn't even.
I know the jumping Echo is cool though. Do you have that one?
I do. It doesn't look like Echo, does it? Maybe a little.
I don't know, but it looks cool. I like it.
It does look cool. I like the.
Again, it's got that like Camp Cretaceous sort of like style.
Yeah,
to it
yeah. No, it's got a little extra color with the the orange. So yeah, no, it's a really nice looking one for sure.
We'll get to that when we obviously head to our trophy room and talk about all of our latest scores. But let's see what exhibits are on the horizon for Jurassic World.
So, Savage Strike Monolophosaurus and Sticky Moloch. We've seen them time and time again to varying extents. Sometimes the color's a little bit different, but mostly it's the same, especially in the case of Sticky Moloch. But
definitely, yeah.
Is that going to be changing pretty soon, Tim?
Yeah, so new figures. I think, we've all collected everything we know about at this point, for the most part, for 2020. But there are some more figures on the way. Monolophosaurus and Sticky Moloch are leading the charge. A couple photos showed up on, I think it's Smith's Toys in the UK, and they look pretty cool.
Yeah, so the one that's especially surprising to me is Stiggy, because even the most recent Stiggy we got it's a little different, right? It's like a little darker than the previous ones, but this is like a totally different Stiggy Moloch.
Different character, right? I mean, yeah, the one we just got was definitely derivative of like the character Stiggy from Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. So this is very different. And then we also have the Monolophosaurus. We've seen that guy a couple of times, right? But this is also a recolor.
Right. Yeah, it's a recolor, and it's definitely very different. I think the last one we got was Battle Damage. That was kind of hard to collect if you count that. But Monolophosaurus is a popular figure. I feel like, I've seen a lot of people respond. I never got a chance to collect this one. I'm glad there's another one coming out, which is, I always put my disclaimer out there. Like, that's what repaints are for. I know some collectors complain about them, but, there's always new people collecting this toy line. Yeah. And if you come in halfway, you can't collect half the species. And not everyone's weird about collecting every single one like you and me are. They're just happy to get one of the species. So when they release new figures like that, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Especially when it's something that we've seen time and time again, but they go a little above and beyond to really make it different. It's not just like a slight repaint. It's not just something that's, you look at some of these trikes. Yeah, they're different, but it feels like another trike. I think when you really radically recolor it makes it more of a welcome, like, re-addition to your collection.
Definitely, and that's definitely the case with Sticky Moloch. Whatever weird control they had over Sticky Moloch's color and portrayal across any toys, not just Mattel, but like plush and, everywhere. It was like, looked exactly the same. And this new one is just totally different. So obviously a little bit of a shift in how they're handling that species. So maybe we'll see some more kind of repaints, more drastic repaints of iconic species, like maybe the T-Rex.
Yeah. I'd be down for that.
I would definitely be down for that, especially if it was...
Or the Mosasaurus.
That would be another one. I mean, there's a lot of kind of iconic colorations for certain figures or certain species that I feel like Mattel holds sacred. They go a little bit over here and a little bit over there, but they kind of stay true to the form. But I would love like a T-Rex or a Mosasaurus in some radical colors.
Yeah, give me a red Mosasaurus and green eyes and like a lime green underbelly, and I'd be all over that.
That'd be so cool. Or like all white, like an orca or a beluga whale or something. That'd be so cool. Who knows? I mean, there's more figures on the way. We're certainly not getting just 2 Savage Strike figures, and no other figures from any other assortment. So there'll be some more figures on the way for 2020, undoubtedly. And of course, we have another year of collecting to look forward to after that, which is already kind of trickling out amid leaks.
Speaking of which. We've gotten some Amber Collection leaks a few weeks ago, but we haven't really talked about them yet. So before we get into those, we do want to give a bit of a spoiler warning that if you're completely avoiding any details about Jurassic World Dominion, I know these are just toys and they shouldn't really give away plot unless, maybe they kind of do, right? Because we have the names of some of these items. But if you're really trying to avoid those, we would just encourage you to maybe just forward a little bit. That way you don't, hear some of those names.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of hard to talk about them without talking about them. But yeah, the leaks showed up in Target too, which I think is right out the gate kind of worth talking about, that we're seeing Amber Collection entries in the Target database. So is Target going to be carrying Amber Collection? Who knows?
So one thing that I noticed, Tim, is that when you look at these listings for Amber Collection, these leaks, that some of the dinosaurs, they say mid-size. So if like raptor-sized dinosaurs like Pyroraptor, for example, are saying that they're mid-size, or Dimorphodon, is there going to be a large size scale as well?
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, it's so hard to kind of glean information from these preliminary system names because, they're sort of entered in from a spreadsheet, and you don't even know what that could be in context to. But it makes me want to get excited for a large size figure for sure. It's too bad in these leaks there wasn't anything that was like small size or large size to sort of justify that. But it is interesting that they say mid-size on some of them, but other ones they don't. Like Delta is right here in the Target system.
Yeah.
It doesn't say mid-size, but it also is kind of a different listing. But again, kind of exciting that like even without Fallen Kingdom and all that, without Dominion and all that, that like a figure that's been kind of hard to find is presumably going to show up at Target soon, being Amber Collection Delta.
Yeah, no, that's neat. I really hope that Target does carry these, because I think that's one of the things about Amber is, I know GameStop had a couple of them for a bit, but if you're just somebody that goes to stores and buys toys or collects toys that way, you might not even be aware that Amber Collection exists, that there's a 6.5-inch scale like Jurassic Collection.
Totally.
So I think that'll do quite a bit for exposure and getting more people on board with collecting it. But just some of these species are really interesting, like Amber Collection Dimorphodon, Tiger Raptor, JP1 Velociraptor. Maybe that's a repack. Maybe it's a repaint. Who knows?
I hope it's a repaint.
Echo is on here too. So finally we might get Echo. And then there's, I mentioned Pyroraptor and Dilophosaurus. And then there's some humans here too, right?
Yeah, we got Dennis Nedry, of course, but could be a different Dennis Nedry, but John Hammond. Yeah. Excited about that. Dr. Arnold. It looks like we also have Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant, which I'm very excited about. Those two have been waiting and waiting and waiting. So, I don't know. There's no dates on these. There's nothing really besides the names themselves. And again, you have to take all this with a grain of salt. I mean, there's been so many. Since I've been really deep into this stuff, there's been so many random things entered into the system that kind of make their way out on the internet that never even come to pass. But there's so many like items here that some of it has to be real and some of it has to be coming. So I'm excited about it, like at the base level.
Yeah, I wonder, like Dr. Arnold. I mean, they probably don't mean Ray Arnold. I imagine it might be a new character, but I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they just got confused because, it's Dr. Sattler, Dr. Malcolm.
Right.
Maybe it was...
Totally seems like that could happen, actually. I mean, there's just lots of kind of weird little, nuances in the way they title these things that make me think that could be Ray Arnold.
Yeah, human pilot Kayla. Maybe that's a new character.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, so that, I mean that's probably something from Dominion, or I know Black Series kind of does. Star Wars Black Series kind of does code names too. I've wondered about that for certain Mattel leaks too. If there's some code names going on here, like not these particular leaks, but there's like Fire Dinosaur and Speed Dinosaur kind of used over and over again, like different toy listings, Fire Dinosaur. So I wonder how much of that is kind of at play here too.
Yeah, totally. And regarding like Nedry, or, we mentioned that could be a different costume, but like Dr. Sattler, Dr. Grant, I mean, could those maybe be Dominion-based costumes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, who knows?
You hear the disappointment in my voice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, we already have Malcolm kind of, from 93. Like, give me Alan Grant from 93. Give me Ellie Sattler from 93. Don't give me Zombie Hammond. Give me Hammond from 93. Like, I just want those figures so bad. And I'm thinking in my head, too, like, showing up at Target, like you said, kind of making people aware of this line. I really hope they put it in the Jurassic toy aisle and not, like, in the weird, like, Nika electronics section collectible place. I really hope they put it with the Jurassic toys.
Yeah, me too. I'd hope to see that as well. And no, I mean, if Amber is really getting like this, if it's going to explode like this next year, then I'm sure it's going to really start to appeal to a lot more people, because I think that's been one of the bigger complaints, is that there's just such a delay between releases, and it's like hard to get excited about. So if it really takes off this way, I think a lot of people are going to jump on board, and I think it's going to be a really cool thing to see. And I'd imagine too, maybe they'll change the packaging up, if it's going to coincide with Dominion somehow.
Yeah, maybe that'd be interesting. Like, again, kind of did something like Black Series, where they took the same, sort of foundation, not even the same die cut of the box, but just sort of evolved it to the next level. I'd be down for that. I don't know if I'd be down for collecting the same figures in different packaging, but
no.
I'm excited. I'm just, like you said, I think it's maybe poised to explode, and hopefully with a little bit more communication, a little bit more, marketing around this, a little bit more information to us collectors, I think people could really, really get after this collection and really hunt each new release down versus stumbling into new orders like we do now.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, lots of other things have been leaking out, different species, some of which we've had, some of which we haven't. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what pans out and what doesn't.
It'll be interesting to see how I'm going to fit all this stuff in my collection room, let me tell you.
I'm not even trying to, I'm not even going to think about that at this point. It's just...
I can't. And I know that's like weird. That's like, well, you love collecting. Don't you love the thought of collecting more stuff? And I do. But it's like, oh, that's a lot of toys.
It is a lot of toys. I mean, this collection has gone so big. Like, it's just, sometimes I think like Victoria, do you really need to have one of each species in every single color, every single variant? And
yes, you do. And you need doubles of some of them.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And triples and quadruples.
Sometimes.
Great segue into our next segment. So let's talk about the toys that we do have, or rather the toys that we just the toys that we just collected, probably since the last time we recorded this episode. What did you grab, Victoria?
I've had a couple of things come in. First thing I want to mention.
Just a couple.
Yeah, first thing I want to mention, and this is for Jurassic. I mean, if you want to talk Star Wars, if you want to talk anything else, we can go all day. Yeah. But we're going to focus on Jurassic in terms of keeping to our theme, and for time purposes, obviously. So. Actually, I just received the Attack Pack Velociraptor. It's the new one, the purple with the red stripes. Is it purple or is it blue? I can't really tell.
I say purple, but I'm also colorblind, so don't listen to me.
I see a slightly different hue from one eye to the other. So I feel like it's in that middle ground between blue and purple. I don't know which way I would go. Flip a coin. But no, it looks cool. We've seen the boob grabber time and time again. And it's another boob grabber for us. And it's especially colorful this time. So, we've seen these raptors so many times. So if they want to do something different, weird, and off the wall, like the coloration on this one, I'm okay with it.
I like it. And I like it next to the Coles red Attack Pack Raptor. And the white, some of the whiter, lighter raptors. For the Attack Pack sculpt, boob grabber aside, I mean, it's a pretty solid sculpt. And I just kind of love getting all these different colors. And purple was like a very welcome addition for me.
Yeah,
or blue.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it would fit in quite well displayed with those other raptors, which, like we're saying, there's so many times that some of these have been released in different colors that I don't have every color on display. I just have at least one of each, like, sculpt. But I think this new one's going to replace whatever I currently have on the shelf in terms of that specific raptor release.
Yes, very vibrant. So what else did you grab?
So Amazon is carrying the Destroy and Devour Indominus they're now selling it in, like, the Mattel shipper. But if you order it, they send it, like, inside another box, so it's, like, double boxed. Yeah. And I didn't yet have that one. Like, for some of these larger dinos, I like to get an extra to keep in box because, it's, the Rexes, the Brachiosaurus, some of the really cool stuff, just to have for down the line. And I didn't yet have this one, and I really liked the way they redid the packaging for Primal Attacks. So I thought, I'm going to try it. I'm going to order one and see, I can get my boxed example of the Indominus. And it arrived and it was glorious. The shipper was in perfect condition. I went ahead and opened it so I could take a look. The packaging of the Indominus was in pretty close to perfect condition. It even still had the little plastic, like, pull cord that you got to remove to try it before you buy it.
Yeah.
And, so I didn't even pull that out. It was really cool to get something like that. Basically like collector grade from Amazon, which just doesn't happen very often.
They should call it collector grade. The shipper has, like, Jurassic World branding on it too, right? Because I think I've ordered something. I think I ordered, like, Super Colossal. I don't know. I ordered something one time with that. Don't they call it, like, no hassle packaging or something?
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of confusing because it makes it sound like you're going to get, like, your figure in, like, a brown box, but you get because we've ordered, like, toys for my kids like that way too, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll order it. Hopefully they don't care it's not in nice packaging, but then you get it and it's like it's the thing you buy in the store, but then it's like double protected. And in these Jurassic toys case, it has, like, branding on the shipper too, which, again, like, don't have to tell everyone listening, like, we're very serious collectors. Like, that's kind of a cool thing to have.
It is, and I've gotten several things like that from Amazon. The Grab and Growl Indominus, it came in a shipper.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Thrash and Throw T-Rex was another one. And the Super Colossal. I haven't gotten blue yet. I haven't yet gotten the Indominus. But yeah, you're right. The Rex from Amazon did come in one of those too.
I remember they were releasing that Grab and Growl Indoraptor for like $10, something ridiculous. And it came in that shipper, but it was like a $30 toy. That's really cool. And honestly, I saw that you got that figure. Yes, the Primal Attack packaging looks so cool, and I'm very tempted to grab another one of those because the Indominus Rex, the Destroy and Devour, is just one of the stars of the Mattel toy line, and it looks great in that packaging. And I personally would probably get it in the shipper and just, like, keep it taped and just, like, push it to the back of my storage space, which we'll address later in the show. But just to have it, because it's just a great figure.
Totally. And, for storage purposes, having something in the box like that, makes it a lot easier than just having it, out of the shipper,
Yeah. No, really nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, I did get some Savage Strike duplicates. So, I'm talking like the wave that we got from Japan, remember? Like the Savage Strike wave that had...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so... I ended up really liking the Japanese writing on those, the hiragana. So as they've been popping in and out of Amazon, I've grabbed a few more to use as my openers, which I don't normally do that with Savage Strike. I don't normally buy them to keep box, but I just happen to really like the way that they looked in the boxes with the writing like that. So the only one I haven't yet been able to get is the what's its name? The red one?
Scootosaurus?
Yes. The Scootosaurus. I haven't managed to grab an extra one of those quite yet, so I'm still looking.
Yeah, that's a great figure. So you definitely got to get an opener for that one. The Japanese packaging was awesome. Totally cool. I still ripped it open though and got my figures out. But yeah.
What about you, Tim? What have you been adding to your trophy room?
So what's funny is when we first started recording season 2 of Collect Jurassic World, I think we talked a lot about the stuff we like panic bought, during the height of our sort of anxiety with being stuck inside. And one of the things I talked about was the Prime 1 T-Rex statue that I purchased. That was 4 months ago. Purchased it from Japan. It's finally here, and I really like it. I went back and checked the math. I paid about $90 for it. all said and done. And it's a pretty, you kind of get what you pay for. It's not like a super high end collectible as far as detail goes, but definitely looks expensive, has got some nice detail on it, and is sort of a little bit like perfectly bite sized. It kind of is a little bit taller than like a DVD case, about maybe a foot wide. So it's awesome. It's just a classic Jurassic Park T-Rex. There's definitely a little couple of things I would nitpick about it, but I'm excited it finally got here.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I was actually surprised. I know we went in depth on these the last episode, but
oh yeah.
no, it looks really cool. Like the photos that you shared, and I saw on Instagram that other people are starting to receive it as well. And it's a really nice display piece.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I saw like 3 other people who got it, and I'm like, huh, did I like pre-order it? I thought it was like already released and out there, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I indirectly pre-ordered it, but you're right. We talked about Brachiosaurus in the last episode, and I would love to get that now.
Yeah, and the really huge, oversized Triceratops.
Right, yeah. Well, it's really clever. They show a photo of the T-Rex, Triceratops, and Brachiosaurus, and they kind of look to scale with one another. But the way they took the photo, like they put Brachiosaurus in the back, I'm pretty sure it's going to look ridiculous next to the T-Rex, like in terms of actual scale. But if I can get another like awesome Brachiosaurus statue for my room for $90, I'm totally doing it.
Yeah, no, these are neat. I mean, traditionally I go for more like, mass-produced plastic things. Not always, but a lot of the time.
Me too.
But if one day, you like, I mean, I don't know if this would ever happen to me, but if I were in a position where I had like some sort of an office outside the house and I wanted to have some cool stuff on display, like I think I would put statues in there.
Yeah, you'd start with statues, then it would fill with all your other toys you want. Trust me.
Yeah, overflow.
Right. And then another figure I got, Mattel-wise, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, Alioramus, the new Attack Pack figure. I like this one. It's got sort of, like Dracorex has sort of this big, giant hinged neck that really lets it dip its whole neck down to the ground. It has the same mechanic on the Alioramus, so you can really do some cool poses. And sculpt-wise, they kind of did this thing where the bottom jaw like totally fits in the upper jaw. So you not just like closes tight, but like goes up into the upper jaw. So he just got kind of like a cool overbite look to him that they obviously did on purpose. But always love a new sculpt with Mattel, right?
Yes, always. And this one does look it looks fun. It looks like a fun new dinosaur. Like, really nice head sculpt. And that's cool.
I'm still trying to find that Dimorphodon, but Alioramus, I'm happy to track down. Another thing that I added to my trophy room, which I think you added as well, was this awesome, iconic Jurassic Park sunset sign that we got from Hot Topic.
Yes. So I found out about this from you. So you posted a photo of it. You had received this from Hot Topic, and it's outside of the realm of what we normally collect, especially what I normally collect. Sure. So. But it looked gorgeous. I mean, classic Jurassic Park, the iconic T-Rex skeleton, the orange, the trees, the yellow.
Yes.
So
it's all there.
Yeah, I jumped on it. I ordered one as well, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I try to collect so much stuff. Not just Jurassic World, but Jurassic Park. Or it's not just Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World. But when it comes to Jurassic Park, the contemporary stuff doesn't always sort of capture the vibe. Like they always, they try weird things like making the logo look like Jurassic World, or using like artwork from the new movies with the old logo. It never works, but this is like just perfect. It's so classic.
Yeah, it really is beautiful. And that's like, if you don't have anything on the walls and you just have your toys on display and you wanted to put something up, like this is perfect, like for representing Jurassic Park. It's gorgeous.
Great. Yeah, it's a great background. And I was talking earlier about my Camp Cretaceous idea I have in my head for my toy display. I have a legacy display kind of idea in my head that I want to do with this sign. If you can't tell, I'm in the preliminary stages of redoing my collection room at some point this winter. So I have lots of ideas, but this sign's great. I think it's like $20, but it's usually on sale, so you can get it even cheaper. Totally worth the money. If you listen to this show, you probably love Jurassic Park, so you should check it out.
Yeah, you might like it.
Yeah. Another cool Jurassic Park thing I got, not from a Hot Topic, but another kind of nerd gift-esque stores, box lunch gifts. I got a Jurassic Park Gates like a little planter, like you'd put a succulent in. It comes with like a fake plastic succulent, but which looks fine to me. I can't kill it, but I kind of have like a new desk set up in my house since I'm working from home now. Try not to cover it with toys. It's slightly covered with toys, but I try to do some classy stuff there too. And for me, classy is like this nice little Jurassic Park gate planter. Cool stuff. Again, just more like classic Jurassic Park stuff. I can't get enough of that.
Nice. That's the one that comes with the pineapple, right?
Yeah, it looks like a pineapple gate. I'm just hoping that this is just like the trickling of Jurassic Park merchandise leading up to Jurassic World Dominion. I've long held my prediction that Dominion is going to be like the floodgates of classic Jurassic Park merchandise, because we have Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler coming back in a big way. They're going to want to hit that nostalgia, and we're going to be drowning in like all of this awesome Jurassic Park stuff, I hope.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. And it's one of those things, we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show, but just like preparing myself mentally for being in that
Where are we going to put it?
Exactly. So yeah, it's but it's cool. I mean, it's what we all wanted, right? We wanted those characters to come back, and hopefully we're going to have the merchandise to show for it.
Totally, yeah. Alan Grant plushies, bring them on.
All right, so around the Jurassic World, we've got a brand new trailer for Camp Cretaceous. I know in the last episode, Tim, we talked about the last one that came out, which, last month or July. But now we've got a brand new one that just, it was today, right, that it came out, or was it yesterday?
It was, it was like yesterday, I think.
Okay.
It was 2 minutes. So the trailer we talked about last episode was, I think, like 30 seconds.
Yeah, a little bit longer, gives us a little bit more of a glimpse into what the show's about, a bit more dialogue. The kids arriving to camp, which, obviously it's Camp Cretaceous. We kind of know what the baseline there is. But, just getting a little bit more of the context of, what's going to be transpiring was interesting to see.
Totally. And I think what I've kind of observed people's reactions to this latest trailer is, since this show was announced, people were complaining that it was a kid's show, that it was going to be kiddie, that blah, 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 the Jurassic's about this, Jurassic's about that. Obviously, we all have different opinions about what the franchise is, but, people were just like wanting something a little bit more their age. And I think this new trailer has hopefully, from what I've seen, sort of kind of assured those who were worried, like there's definitely a darker, serious tone. I mean, there's not kids getting ripped apart and disemboweled, but like there's definitely a dark, serious tone with this show. It's not just like some goofy Nick Jr. show in any way, shape, or form. Yeah,
absolutely. No, it looks cool. I'm excited about it, and it does seem like it's going to have broader appeal than like Lego Jurassic World. It's which I not that I don't enjoy that stuff, but I think it's going to. Just the fact that it is a little bit more mature, it's going to appeal to a larger demographic potentially.
I think so for sure. I mean, I love Jurassic, I love Lego, but I've watched a little bit of one of those specials. I think we talked about that maybe we didn't talk about it. I've never really been into those specials, but obviously this is right up my alley. So the website's really cool too. Have you gotten a chance to check that out?
I haven't looked at the website yet.
Oh, you got to check it out. If you like the Jurassic World website that we got for the first movie, that was like very immersive and kind of pretended like it was a real place. This is the exact same thing. It's like exploring the camp, tons of cool stuff to uncover. I always think for things like this, like they didn't have to go this far, but they did, and that's how I feel about this Camp Cretaceous website.
Yeah, no, it's cool stuff, and unfortunately the Target promotions kind of come to an end. It seems like, doesn't it?
Right, like we got McDonald's, we have the trailer, we have this new website, but yeah, the Target promotion obviously, with the big sign and all that stuff's gone. But I think this stuff's always kind of hard to time out, and I do think there's rumblings of like maybe the show was supposed to launch a little sooner, but it didn't because of pandemic delays or something. So I think they did the best they could, kind of timing all this stuff, but. It's here. The media blitz for Camp Cretaceous is here, and by the time we record the next episode, we'll probably be talking about the show.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Looking forward to that.
Very excited too. I'm just excited for the whole Jurassic community to kind of get a big new chunk of content to chew on, because you know that we chew on those movies and get our kicks out of them for a long time when they come out.
Yep, totally.
Another exciting thing we have around the Jurassic World is Jurassic World Evolution, the park building game that was, I think, on Xbox, PlayStation, the computer a couple of years ago. It's coming to Switch, Nintendo Switch, and I'm so excited. This is one I've actually wanted for a long time.
Yeah, so, as you know, I have Jurassic World Evolution. I never really, got in. I mean, this is the thing. I oftentimes will start a video game, but after I play it a few times, it's not that I get bored. It's just that I lose interest, I guess,
I know.
But no, I mean, it's another platform. Awesome.
Yeah, no, and that's what I think is cool about Switch and Evolution is it's like you can kind of take it on the go, and maybe that kind of takes the pressure off of sitting down and kind of having this daunting park building experience. I can see why people, myself included, I want a little bit more chill approach to this kind of game. So being able to do it in the palm of my hands is going to be super fun. I didn't even have a Switch until this year happened and we were stuck inside. So I'm ready to buy the game all over again to play it. It comes with all the DLC, including Return to Jurassic Park, which is awesome. Again, Victoria, you should play that. Just play that DLC, because it is like the watered down version. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like the simplified version of Jurassic World Evolution. There's way less building types, way less things to manage. It's just sort of streamlined, and it's all Jurassic Park, and all the voice actors are back. It's so cool.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. So yeah, I might have to check that out pretty soon here.
And I don't think you have a Switch, but if you have a Switch, you can do it in the palm of your hand.
I do have a Switch.
You do? Well, there you go. Time
Yes.
to buy the game again that you never played in the first place for the Nintendo Switch. But you get everything. You get all that DLC too. So November 3rd is when that comes out.
Very cool. All right, so in our last episode, we solicited a collector Q&A. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, and we always like hearing from the toy collecting community at large and seeing what's going on, what your questions are, and we're all interested in this stuff, of course. So, Tim, it looks like we got a few questions, huh?
Yeah, we got some good ones, and we'll start off with King_Kaiju123 on Instagram. They asked, what species should Mattel redesign and re-release? I love this question.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Pachycephalosaurus.
Pachycephalosaurus. Yeah, I think we kind of went in depth on that a couple episodes ago on how strange of a figure that is. And it's easy to say what figures we hated and want to redesign for sure. That's a good one.
What about you?
For me personally, I think I'd like them to take a kind of a well-received figure and then kind of reinvent it. For example, Baryonyx. We have 1 million of those. Let's see a different Baryonyx,
Yeah, good point. Triceratops.
Right, Triceratops. That would be great. Get a big Triceratops, a big Triceratops that scales well. I would love that. That would be a great redesign.
Yeah, a bulkier one that's not so skinny looking.
Right. Because we know T-Rex gets redesigned basically every year, so we can't ask about that.
Yeah. And
to an extent, Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus kind of get redesigned over and over again too.
Yeah, no, that's true. We got plenty of those. I think we listed off the ones that should get it first.
I have a great one too. I thought about this the other day actually. I'd love a Quetzalcoatlus that is in its kind of walking pose versus flying. How cool would that be?
Yeah, any flying reptile really, Pteranodon,
Yes.
the film ones especially, in a perched pose would be really
right,
cool.
because I know Rhamphorhynchus and Dimorphodon, you can kind of fake that, but it doesn't look the same. I would love an actual perch pose.
That'd be super cool.
Next question comes from Jurassic.Texas on Instagram. What are the things you hope to see in the Dominion toy line?
What don't we hope to see in the Dominion toy line?
Rotating wrists on human figures.
You know what? Yes. Rotating wrists on human figures in 3 3/4 inch. That's been something that's bothered me from the beginning. The figures are quite posable, but they're missing that wrist articulation. We have a couple figures that are just so hard to pose with their weapons.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really nice if we're talking just features. I would really like moving wrists. I would like jaw articulation not to be built into the action feature, so we can always open and close the mouth of a dinosaur, like however we see fit. That'd be something I'd love to see with Dominion. Sort of like a more like focus on like articulation, I guess, overall.
What about opening jaws on humans?
Yeah, opening jaws on humans for sure. Like an open jaw on old Alan Grant would be perfect.
He looked like a dummy, like, a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah. And it's kind of with Alan Grant too. It's like I would love to see with Dominion toy line some sort of like generations like toy pack where it's like, here's Alan Grant from the movie in '93, and here he is in Dominion. Like I would love something like that for those characters.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see more vehicles too. We need more of those, especially a certain one.
Yes, I would love to see a Lost World motorcycle. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely I hope that, we got the Jeep Wrangler with Fallen Kingdom. I would love them to trot out the old Ford Explorer for Dominion.
Yeah, I think that and like maybe like a JP like gate with fences are like kind of like the last frontiers if they want to really cover like what Kenner did. Like they need those two things, like a command compound with the gate and fences too.
Yeah, I would take a gate, just a gate if that's all I could get, but I would love a command compound or maybe like even like a control room sort of setup. They could do something like that. I would love any kind of play set. And I think these are the obvious answers to this question. We want vehicles, we want playsets, we want articulation.
A visitor center scaled to the Amber Collection.
Oh yeah, that's like a Jabba's barge all over again.
Oh yeah. That I might not have room for that. Maybe we stick to 3 3/4 for all the crazy stuff.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, but kind of getting off on like a little tangent here. A lot of 6-inch action figure lines do vehicles, so. Who knows? Maybe we could get a vehicle with Amber Collection.
Yeah, you never know.
Even if it was just like a 4x4 or something, I feel like that'd be kind of a cool thing to get.
A 6-inch scale hide.
That'll be it. They'll give us a giant they'll give us a giant Ford Explorer. And they're like, this is what you wanted, right? The 6-inch Ford Explorer.
Next question comes from Espinaraptor_1, and they are asking, which is your favorite herbivore Mattel Dino design?
This is a tough one. I love when we do this show, Victoria, because I just like stare at all my toys while we talk and try to figure this stuff out.
Yep.
I'm gonna be cheap here and say you go first.
Oh gosh. Well, I have a few in mind, but obviously the one that comes to mind first immediately is the Brachiosaurus, because it's the Brachiosaurus and it's universally loved and praised, and who doesn't love that toy?
Right. No, totally. That's kind of my knee-jerk reaction. Whenever someone asks what my favorite Mattel figure is, period, I usually say that. But I want to give a different answer for this, or maybe just sort of a number 2. I'm Googling right now to find out if Mononychus was a herbivore.
I think it was an omnivore.
Yeah, dang. That was I love Mononychus. It's one of my favorite figures of all time from Mattel.
Oh, wow.
What other herbivores we got here? We got Dracorex, we got Stegosaurus, we got Parasaurolophus, Triceratops, obviously. Oh, I love the Legacy Collection Gallimimus.
Yes,
that's a nice one.
Yes, 100%. That is one of their finest sculpts. I'd love to see that come back, like in Savage Strike when you paint. Why haven't we gotten that yet?
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting, the sculpts they leave behind, and then the sculpts they choose to repaint, like Dracorex, that don't really seem to be that popular on the show.
Right.
This is probably not popular with a lot of people, but I love the Protoceratops, especially that very first one we got. I love that figure.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Protoceratops was a smaller ceratopsian, so I mean, it seems to be sized about right.
Right. You know what I don't like? Masaurus. Not a big fan of that one.
Masaurus, that poor little guy.
Yeah, he just looks so dumpy.
You know what else is a good one is the Margasaurus. I think that was a really nice sculpt too. Yeah,
I see, that was not my favorite. Again, he has just kind of a dumpy look on his face, but from the side he looks cool. From front on, he's staring at me right now from my toy shelf, giving me kind of a weird look. I'm not going to say I love him, But yeah, I guess I would say I kind of got lost when we were trying to guess what figure you were talking about. But Kelvisaurus is another recent one that I dig too. I'd love to see an iguanodon.
I would too. That'd be really cool.
Like I would say, I'm even going to go big here, a massive biter iguanodon. Because they were pretty big, right? Like,
yeah, I think so. Bonus points if it can make it pose like, in the retro sort of, vertical position.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Yeah, totally. That'd be awesome. All right, let's head to our next question.
All right.
From Rexy the Tyrannosaurus 93 on Instagram. What is the ugliest toy Mattel has made?
Interesting question. You go first.
Easy. And I'm probably going to get some hate for this. Dimetrodon is so ugly. What an ugly figure. And I got to say, I don't know if anyone like from Mattel or whoever makes these toys listens. Respect your work, mad respect, and I'm not hating on the Dimetrodon, but it reminds me of, and you're going to know the names of these more than I am, but like the Pterodogs from Ghostbusters. Like, it straight up looks like one of those just with a sail on its back. Even with like its big legs kind of like coming forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one for me.
I can see that. And, that's one that we talk about. Like, why haven't they repainted that one? But maybe they could resculpt it while they're at it then.
Yeah, just the face. I feel like that's all it really needs.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I like it, but yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying, and I think it's missing some toes too, or something. But yeah. No, I can see where you're coming from. I guess. For me, no surprise, Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah, you really hate that thing. Wow.
They're just scary. Like, I have them in the, like, I'm not kidding you. I'll show you. Like, I have them on the back of the shelf, like facing the other way, because they just creep me out.
That's actually really funny. It doesn't creep me out that much, but it's definitely an ugly figure. Maybe its feet are the thing that really creep me out, which I think we talked about.
For me, it's the eyes and the face. It's just, ugh.
But yeah, I mean, there's a couple more I would say. Like, I don't love Ramphorhynchus. I think the second repaint was better than the first one. But that one for me is kind of a
Happy Meal toy.
It's just googly eyed. It just looks silly. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know that species in general, like kind of looked kind of weird, but yeah, the way it translates into a toy doesn't really do it any favors.
Yeah, for me, Dimetrodon, Ramphorhynchus, and Minmi all kind of have the same weird, I call it like Ghostbuster-esque, Ghostbuster monster vibes with their big beady eyes. I don't know. Something about them.
The Minmi. That's funny. Poor Minmi. Minmi kind of it's one of those species that kind of falls by the wayside and gets forgotten.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from at Suki_da_mimus. Do you want to see some more Mattel Suchomimus figures?
Imagine that question from Suki de Mimus.
They don't like Suchomimus at all.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Do we want to see more Suchomimus figures? I think I know where I stand.
I think I know where I stand too. I'm going to say an emphatic no.
No, because we have what, 3 and... Right? We have 3.
We have 2.
2. Wow. And we're already like, no. But I don't know about you, but for me, the QA on these, like the legs and like none of mine stand up at all.
Yeah.
Like the newest one, the Dino Rivals version, like it literally, like if I picked it up right now and swung it back and forth, its legs would just shake around. Like it has no firmness at all to its pose. So it's always a bummer when like a toy just gets totally undermined by something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the first one. I like the colors. It's got that like aquatic sort of look. I like that.
Yes.
But like, yeah, you're right. The second one, it's just there were the first versions, like releases that made it out, had like a really loose like head and like biting action. But then they reinforced it like on later releases.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so there's a running change where it has like a much like sturdier like bite. So
maybe I should track that down because that's one of the reasons I don't love that figure. It just kind of feels janky.
Yeah, that first one is pretty lame, like honestly, in terms of how bad the action biting thing is and the tail swinging really. But no, we don't need another one. I think we're fine with the 2 we have.
Though I would say, not to just let down Suki over here, kind of going back to our first question, what species should Mattel redesign and re-release? I think Suchomimus could kind of benefit from a sort of total reset. Spinosaurus looks great. I love Irritator. maybe Suchomimus could get a little bit of love to fit in there with his sort of, relatives a little bit better, and get kind of a fresh new figure. I think Mattel's Suchomimus is a little bit friendly looking. I would love to see them kind of do something a little more ferocious.
Yeah. That could be a possibility if it makes its way into Dominion or something, and it's more scary. Like the Baryonyx was pretty scary, I think.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, in that case, I wouldn't mind another toy. So.
Yeah, I love these questions though. We're definitely gonna have to, I think we should just always solicit these questions at the end of the show, because we have a great time answering them, and kind of giving our opinion on stuff.
Yes, and Suki means like love or like in Japanese.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes.
All right, so season 2 on Collect Jurassic World. We really haven't touched on our collector survival guide, which I think we both, love to give our input on, sort of our take on collecting. So happy to get back to this segment. Today we're going to be talking about toy storage.
Toy storage. Every time you say that, I start thinking Toy Story for some reason, because it sounds similar. Yeah. But as I look up at my Toy Story shelf with Woody, it's the
dark side of Toy Story, which is toy storage.
Yeah, it's where they go to die in the attic.
Yeah, basically.
Toy storage. If you're a collector, and I don't mean somebody that just buys a toy once a year. I mean, if you're a collector and you've been at it for a long time, then one of the things you've obviously run across, at some point, or maybe in our cases, frequently, is storage. Like, where do I put this stuff? Mm-hmm. And honestly, Tim, it's one of those things where I never ask that question until after I've already bought something.
Totally.
So, I ordered it on Amazon, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll worry about that when it comes in.
Right, exactly.
So,
like that Millennium Falcon you just scored. Like,
yeah.
It's like you knew you did not have room for that, and you're
exactly.
like, I'll figure it out when it gets here. Totally. No, it's the same way for me. I bought that vintage CinemaCast Kenner Velociraptor. It's massive. It is just, it's so big, and I was like, I'm sure I'll find some place for it, knowing I would never find a place for it. It's still awkwardly on one of my shelves. It does not. Yep. It's like hanging off over it. It's like, yeah. So toy storage is just a byproduct of collecting, really. It's a necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil. It's, it's one of those things that, I mean, you got to put, if you have something physical in 3D form, it's got to go somewhere. And if it can't go on your shelf, then you got to figure out where it's going to go. And, luckily.
And we all love to display all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, at some point, you run out of room.
Yeah. I mean, unless, we always have that dream that I've talked about before where, when you're a kid or, you're younger collectors, like, okay, one day when I have a mansion or when I have my underground, like, secret villain lair, I'm going to have all this room to display all of my collection, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like a museum. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to be in glass cases. And
yeah. Or in my case, it's going to be a giant 3 3/4 scale recreation of Isla Nublar with tons of fences and a work. Yeah. Not happening in my lifetime.
I always envision more like a bat cave kind of thing where you have like the bookcase that like slides to the side and then you can walk in and there's your secret collection room with all your goodies in there. But totally. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So like you, I'm kind of forced with figuring out storage for my toys.
So tell me about your storage situation. Is it like in one closet? Is it in multiple closets? Do you rent one of those storage containers like in the big storage buildings away from your house?
Yeah, ideally, I think that's what I would do is I would get an air conditioned like storage, climate controlled storage unit, and I would just haul my stuff over there. I don't have a truck, so I mean that's that'd be part of it. The other part, of course, is if you do something like that, you got to pay. I don't know what they run for, but if it's like climate controlled, you're probably gonna pay a little bit each month to maintain your things. And then, like we create content, and a lot of time, maybe you're shooting a video and you want to just retrieve something really quick to compare it or to look at it, check something. So no, I don't do that. I try and store here at home. And that's where basically everything is. I do have some stuff at my parents' because, I started collecting ages and ages and ages ago. So thankfully, my mom's pretty cool about it. But she does kind of nudge me in the arm when I see her. And she's like, yeah, you got a little bit of stuff here. You need to take it at some point. I'm like,
right.
Yeah,
right.
I know. But no.
Really? Because then you're like, actually, I wanted to store a little bit more stuff here.
She's like, you live like 3 states away. I think you need to figure this out. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I try and ship back a little by little when I go visit, but
that
doesn't always happen. Doesn't always happen. But yes, I do end up storing here at home.
So I'm like you. I store at home. Personally, for me, a storage unit is probably like where I need to like really reevaluate what I'm displaying and what I'm storing. Like that would be too far for me just because I don't want to pay for it. And I mean, really, when stuff goes into that kind of deep storage, are you ever getting it out? So I really try to keep my storage in and of itself kind of trimmed down like I do the stuff I display. But I have one place where I store everything. It's like in our upstairs closet, there's a door that goes to like behind the wall, and I've refinished it. It's not like you can't eat off the floor or anything, but it's pretty nice. And I have a bunch of Rubbermaid containers in there, just full, mostly of vintage Jurassic Park and vintage Lost World stuff. But I have all my new Star Wars stuff in there. I got all kinds of stuff in there. It's more than just Jurassic Park and Star Wars, but I just try to keep it under control. So if stuff starts to overflow in there, I kind of root through and find some toys I need to sell. I think I sold a bunch of G.I. Joes last year. So I try to keep it clean. The one thing I don't get rid of is Jurassic, but anything else is sort of fair game.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. It's like, for me, like, I have my dedicated like office / collection room, and that's where I have all my shelves and all my displays and stuff. But yeah, then I have the closet. Then I have the closet in our guest room that is like most of it is filled with toys. It's like organized, but it's filled with toys. Same thing with like the closet I have here in my office room. It's just toys, basically 100% like storage for that. Anything else that I can't fit in the closet, which in the closet, by the way, I do have like those stackable pull-out drawers, like the plastic drawers, and some of like the 18-gallon. I don't think they're 18-gallon; they're smaller than that. But like the stackable little containers, the hefty containers. I have those like around the collecting room, and I try and cover them up. But yeah, I mean it's hard. It's not. You see some of my storage, when you come over.
Oh, really? See, mine is at least all hidden behind the wall, literally. But at the same time, if you walk into my collection room, it looks like a bomb went off in here because there's stuff everywhere on the floor. So it's like I'm kind of storing stuff on the floor a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
But I wanted to touch on kind of what you said about different containers and drawers. I used to just do like big, deep kind of what do you call them? Like totes, kind of, with lids that you could stack. And you can pack a lot of stuff into those. But for storing like toys, literally, those are not good. For storing like, T-shirts and like a box set of this and all that, like I can really Tetris some stuff into those. But I found when I was kind of putting away my ill-fated Jurassic World Hasbro toy line that's all loose, kind of putting them in those giant gallon containers, like everything presses on one another, and like I'm sure stuff's warping and all that. Like I don't like that, so I've really started to adopt like the big, long, shallow like they're, I don't know how to, that's like
for shoes,
a really shallow bin.
Yeah.
And I can just Ziploc bag like a ton of individual figures and put them in there, and they're not all weighing down each other. And you can really stack those up big time. It kind of makes it a pain when you're trying to get one off the bottom of the stack. But I really like those. That's kind of what I've converted to for my storage.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's it's obviously something that's very customizable if you're talking about like, what kinds of containers you're using. You can buy stuff at Target. That's what I usually do. You can go to Walmart. I don't know if they have the container store in your area, but that's another option.
Yes, totally. My wife is in love with the container store. Yeah, and I'm always kind of conscious of like damage while they're in storage. Like how do you pack them? Like I put them in bags. Funny story. My Rogue One AT. Was it an AT-AT in Rogue One? What are they called?
The AT...
CT? No?
I should know this. The AT-ACT.
okay, my Rogue One AT-ACT walker, it doesn't fit in a box, so it's in my storage space and behind the wall. I have like saran wrap taped around its feet so it doesn't scratch on the wood. So I go through great lengths to protect my toys from damage when I'm kind of putting them away for who knows how long.
Yeah, no, that's something you got to consider. I mean, paint rub is a real thing. Warping is a real thing. I don't like any of that. I try and incorporate wax paper because, wax paper should keep things from sticking. So if I feel like I'm going to have dinosaurs close to each other or any kind of toy that's close to each other where it's not in like a dedicated like baggie or something, I will try and use wax paper. That way, it doesn't stick and, things keep separated without sticking to the paper. And that's a problem too with like storage baggies too, like Ziplocs, because over time they do deteriorate sometimes. Doesn't always happen, but certain times there will be like a batch or a brand where they'll just decompose or they'll start to get kind of sticky, and those are always the kind of things that you want to avoid if you're collecting and storing your toys.
It's such a bummer, and I think sometimes you can't avoid the plastic breakdown of certain figures. I've noticed that the old Kenner figures, the old ones, are just like they can stand this test of time. They'll be around long after I'm gone. But like the KB Toys exclusive Jurassic figures from like 2000s, those ones are all getting sticky already. Like the plastic is like actively breaking down no matter what you do. I mean, I think I bought one new off eBay and it was already doing that. So kind of sad.
That's really unfortunate. But yeah, it's like, we got to remember these are mass produced, low cost toys meant to be consumable goods. And even like collector, like, Black Series or, anything that you buy that's mass produced, potentially is going to have that, there's going to be that possibility that there's going to be some sort of a decomposition like process for the materials. And like you say, it happens with plastics, sometimes they discolor, they turn yellow over time. And sometimes they just get sticky, and that's just the material breaking down over the years, and we do our best to avoid it, right? But I mean, there's only so much you can really do.
Which in a roundabout way kind of shows why you should display stuff as much as possible and try to keep your storage situation under control so that you can get good out of this, get good out of this hobby. Be able to see the toys and collectibles you collect instead of letting them slowly decompose in a bin somewhere. But I mean, it's hard. One thing I did want to touch on too about temperature control, because like you said, this plastic's breaking down. Humidity does not help that. Either does it being frozen and unfrozen. And it's tough. Like in my situation, they're behind a wall the roof is presumably insulated, but whenever I go in there during the summer, it's real hot, and it's just like, what do? I mean, you only have so much room to store stuff.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to make do with what you have.
You do. I mean, I do have some things in the garage. I know that's not ideal. I mean, it's not really stuff like my most important stuff, I'm going to keep inside. I'm going to keep it, very well protected. But I do have some overflow things that I don't display that are just more random, like my Independence Day aliens that are still in the boxes.
Yes.
Just like, or like even some of my Kenner Batman stuff. Unfortunately,
you don't want those floppy disks to deteriorate. So you gotta.
Yeah. Oh my God, those are horrible. Have you looked on YouTube at those videos?
Victoria, I loved those when I was a kid.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I loved those.
The one that I know we're going on a tangent, but the one that I had, like the one disc I actually tried using in our computer, I could never get it to work. All I remember seeing was like the alien, like in the spaceship. And I was like, what do I do? The buttons aren't working. I just kind of gave up on it. But looking at those on YouTube, like now, like it's hilarious.
I'll have to go look because it's probably one of those things where I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses, and they're probably awful. But I remember playing with the one that came with the spaceship over and over again. It was so cool.
Nice.
Love Independence Day, but yeah, tangent aside.
Yeah. So yeah, I have some random things in the garage. Also, some things that I don't intend to keep that I'm trying to like get rid of or give away or sell or whatever. I have in the garage sometimes because at least
you live somewhere that has moderate weather all year. I mean, here around Chicago, it's like we freeze, we thaw, we freeze, we thaw, we freeze, we thaw, which makes the prospect of putting anything in the garage, even just like textiles or something like that. I have a lot of like shirts and stuff like that for Jurassic. Just makes me nervous. I just can't bring myself to do it. My wife's always like, well, you could put stuff in the garage. I'm just like, no.
True.
Makes me nervous. I mean, we put all our like, Christmas decorations and stuff out there, and that stuff's fine. But I mean, these are toys we're talking about here. This isn't, heirloom Christmas decorations. I don't want to lose my toys.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, no, you're right. I do live in a more temperate climate here in San Diego. It's year round. It's pretty temperate. We usually in the winter, we don't get lower than maybe like 55, like when it's cold. During the summers, it gets a little warmer, but year round, we're generally around 70 degrees or so. We do get like a more of a tropical sort of kind of season, like from like late July to like mid-September, where it's more humid.
Yeah, get a little bit of humidity there. Yeah,
right, and a little warmer, but generally it's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, I try not to keep things in the garage because, like you're saying, there's just so many. There's variables. I mean, it's not necessarily
insects.
It's not really outdoors per se. And, luckily here we don't have too many insects, but, it's still something you want to try to avoid doing no matter where you live. If you can help it, especially your more important, special, like your vintage stuff, keep it in the house.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the balance we all strike as collectors of what can I keep? What can I display? What can I probably unfortunately sell, and what can I store? And I think everyone has their own take on how they store stuff and how much they're willing to store and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's kind of fun to talk about though and see what everyone else
it is
kind of the approach they take.
It is. And you make a good point that if you can't see it, I mean, what's kind of the point? I mean, you collect because you enjoy the stuff, and if you have it stored away in a storage unit or in your garage, in your closet, wherever, you can't see it, it's hard to appreciate those collectibles if you're not going to be able to appreciate them, really. So
exactly.
And I think that kind of goes back to what you said about hoarding mentality. Like, at what point does it become hoarding?
Right. At what point are you just compulsively owning it because you want to own it versus, I genuinely love this and appreciate it. Does it bring me joy?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what you constantly have to consider as a collector is, what makes me happy? What brings me joy? Am I just doing it out of habit? Do I feel some compulsive need to collect them all? And, I know that, for us, yeah, a lot of the time that's the case. But
I also enjoy, like, I genuinely enjoy every new figure I get. Even the Dimetrodon. Even the Ramphorhynchus. They're bringing me joy.
Even the Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah, even those. Even though they creep you out, you keep them on a far, far away shelf. You still got them up. You still got them on display.
Yeah, you're right. I still got them on display. One of the things I do like to do every now and then, though, is reevaluate what I have. And I know you kind of touched on this, but, our collections are jam-packed with things outside of Jurassic. And especially like me, I'm all over the place. I really am. Like, I'm all over the place. I mean, Jurassic and Star Wars are my bread and butter, for sure. Mm-hmm. But, I do get a good bit into Marvel Legends. I get into DC and, other odds and ends. And every now and then I like to kind of sit back or step back, kind of go through what I have and kind of see, okay, I'm at a point where there's just no more room. What do I need to do? And, you can kind of, hopefully you're able to kind of weed through a little bit and discard some of your collection. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do sometimes. But
yeah, it is.
It's necessary. I mean, if you're somebody that collects nonstop and, you like to collect toys and obviously we've kind of created, our own things out of it.
Right. You don't just reach a point where you're like, I'm good. But
yeah.
And also like, and you and I's case, it's like, it's more than a hobby. It's kind of like a, it's, I wouldn't call it a job, but it's definitely more than a hobby for me.
Yeah, I know it's a passion. It's something that we love doing, it's yeah, I mean, we've gone beyond it, like just being, it's just my hobby, so I mean, for us, I think it's kind of necessary to kind of like, step back every now and then and just kind of reassess, like, what you're collecting, especially if you're going to keep collecting, because like you said earlier, like this line is not going anywhere. Next year, it's probably going to explode even more. So
yeah, and I think I'm getting to the point, I know you're already there, where it's like you don't display every single figure, you just try to display every single sculpt. And I'm going to be there next year for sure. Right now I'm keen on getting every single figure out on my shelf, but it's just, I mean, there's no room for anything else. I have all kinds of cool vintage Jurassic Park stuff that I could get out here, but I have 34 boob grabber raptors instead, so I don't have room for that. So I'll get there. One thing that about storage too is if you have time and energy, like you can rotate what you show on display too. I used to have a roommate who was a comic collector, and he had his whole hallway lined with comics, like that was just a wall, like a mosaic of comics. And it always blew my mind, but like every month he would be like, okay, I don't know anything about comics, so forgive me, but he'd be like, I have this storyline up, but like I'm going to take it down and put like this universe up. And like he would do it often, and he had boxes of comics in storage, but he would just get them out and put them on display. And then he would take them down and put, like, I wish I had the time to do that with my stuff, because I would totally kind of rotate my display if I could.
Yeah, no, that's important too. And I do the exact same thing, like not just with Jurassic, but I collect Black Series. How many Black Series are there? There's like 200 of them.
Yeah. Oh wow, really?
Yeah, something like that. So I can't keep them all on the shelf all the time. So I'll tend to move things in and out. Like if there's like a new media, like The Mandalorian or The Rise of Skywalker or whatever, I'll focus on getting those on the shelf. And then other things there, like this year's the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, so I have those on the shelf. But I mean, ultimately, I wish I could do it more than I am able to. But yeah, every like at least 2 to 3 times a year, I'll go in and I'll kind of like rearrange the shelves, put new things on there, rotate things, because I love what I have and I want to see all of it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's why I have every single figure out right now. I love it and I want to see it all, but we all got to make those tough decisions at some point of what to put in the closet.
Yeah, you don't want, I mean, I don't want to say you don't want to get to the point. Some people do. But, there comes a time, I've seen with people that have been huge on collecting, have some of the biggest collections you'll see. One day they just wake up and they're like, you know what? I'm done. They sell their collections, and it's hard for me to see myself getting to that point anytime soon. I mean, I kind of like to think that eventually I'm going to downsize significantly. But right now, while I'm enjoying it, I'm able to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. But, that sometimes, some people do get to that point where, they're like, okay, 90% of this has to go. And
it's interesting you say that. I feel like I look into the future and I see my kids moving out and going to college, and that's where things start to get real. Right. And I really start to I'm like, I can have all these rooms now. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I feel like my my collecting sort of like, stretching my arms collecting hasn't really peaked yet. It's still maybe a decade or so away.
Yeah, I feel like that about. Too. I mean, we're in the third decade of our lives, right? Third decade or fourth?
Yeah, right,
fourth decade. Right. There's a fourth decade. 30s is like fourth decade, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're in the fourth decade, but I am not 40.
Yeah, no, neither of us are. But yeah, I think this is still a good time. We're still able to do it. We have the energy to do it, and thankfully, thank goodness, the resources, and we enjoy doing it. We're able to create the content and make of it what we do. So. That's like you say sometimes, Tim. That's like future Victoria's or future Tim's problem to deal with.
Yeah. Yep. Future Tim's problem is going to figure out where he puts Jurassic World 8 toys.
Love it. Thank you for listening. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Tim. And for even more Jurassic collecting info, please check us out online. You can visit our official website, collectjurassic.com. And we're also on social media at collectjurassic on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also be sure to check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/collectjurassic.
And you can find me by visiting the Victoria's Cantina YouTube channel. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Victoria's Cantina, and on Twitter at Vic's Cantina. You can also find the Cantina Chatter podcast as well as the Discoveryland show wherever you listen to podcasts.
And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and an excellent review. Those are the park rules.
You can also get in touch with us by sending a message to the Fax Machine. That's collectjurassic@gmail.com.
So thank you for visiting, and we hope you've enjoyed your trip to the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, the park is closed. Please make your way towards the East Dock. We hope you'll book a return visit for another adventure into Collect Jurassic World.